Hey there, welcome back to my channel. So here we are, we have the final haul video from 2020. I have still kept up with my no-buy, I promise you all, but this was the last one that was just kind of late getting to me. So it ended up working out for the best, I suppose, because honestly, it just kind of spread out the joy of opening up new packages. The only thing I will say though is this one is one of my most risky blind buy first impressions I've ever done, and to have it be my last, like, I'm really risking to hate all three of these, but I just thought I would take a chance because it's gonna be a while until I got new fragrances. And by the way, you guys, you've given me so many new ideas of videos to film for you guys that aren't hauls. I have put up some already, but I have so many more. So definitely always send me your suggestions. But anyways, these were fragrances that I've had on my list for ages and ages. And there's an element to all of them that I thought I would like, and an element to all of them that I very much knew I wouldn't like. So we're just gonna see how risky it was. And the first one's actually a sample, and it ended up working out that the sample I got is also one that I figured I would hate it. And I just had to know because it's talked about so much earlier in 2020, I think. But Chocolate Greedy by Montale. I am not a huge chocolate fragrance person. I adore chocolate, but chocolate fragrance person, I'm really, really not. So I just always figured, like, it's not for me. It's not for me. Like, obviously it's not. But people then would say that it has like a cocoa powder vibe, and I do like that sound, or like that kind of scent, like a cocoa powdery type scent. I like the sound of that. So whatever, I just really didn't know. And the one Montale I have is very, very strong, like beast mode. So I figured, like, it's probably going to be an extreme chocolate. It's not going to be for me, but I am so happy to have a sample. And this one was a blind sniff, but I always try out the samples before these videos, and I have. So I'll respray it to tell you guys a little bit about it. But this has cacao, vanilla, tonka, coffee, dried fruits, and bitter orange. And what I will say is, again, I was expecting to hate this, and I loved the opening. The opening is very like new jar of Nutella with like a less hazelnut, obviously, but new jar of Nutella, very, very sweet, like hot chocolate powder, hot cocoa. Like, I definitely get that chocolate powder, sweet vanilla, like fake marshmallow bits, hot cocoa type feel. And I love that. When I smelled it, I could not believe it. I was like, oh my God, everyone's right. I can't believe I'm into a chocolatey fragrance like that. I never expected that to be the day, or that to be the case rather. But wow, I really, really like the opening. And what I'm especially happy about, I feel like I can't talk today. What I'm especially happy about is that I tried this before the video, because I can already kind of give you guys a little bit of a second impression. And there are two things that turn me off to this, even though I'm obsessed with the sample, much more than I thought I would be. The first thing is in the heart, I suppose, or after a while when you've worn it, and definitely even so in the dry down, it changes. And it changes because I feel like the fruitiness, especially like orange and sweet citrus, start coming through, and it starts smelling like Lyra from, what is it called? From Xerjoff, which I do have, and I won't pull down. You guys know what it looks like, but Lyra is a fragrance that I have. Again, I'd heard so much. I went through like a very, very short Xerjoff phase, and it just wasn't really my jam, at least until now. But this really does smell in the heart and dry down very much like Lyra, and that is also like a caramel gourmand with bitter orange or sweet orange. So I kind of really get that vibe later on into the fragrance. And what I wish personally is that it would stay more what it smells like in the opening, because the opening is really my jam. Like if I was gonna be into a chocolatey fragrance, it would be this kind of like cocoa powder scent. Like it just kind of smells like hot chocolate. And I do like that powdery, it even smells like vanilla, vanilla sugar, like it is very powdery, and that's probably what draws me to it. But once it starts going more into, in my opinion, even more into the gourmand area, and I just am not a fan of that orange combination, it changes for me. But I know a lot of you, and I would say the majority of you, would love that. So in that case, it's totally up your alley, and obviously way more less expensive than Lyra. They're not exact matches by any means, but I feel like if you like one, you're gonna like the other. And yeah, it's got a feel of that to it. The other thing, and the second thing about this Montale, is I've always heard, I only have the one myself, but I've always heard that they're very like beast mode in your face type fragrances. And honestly, this one, it didn't fade away very quickly, but it wasn't as beast mode as Sweet Oriental Dream. Maybe because it's a sample and we always end up spraying samples differently than how we spray fragrances, obviously, especially me, because I go like ham with it. But Sweet Oriental Dream, even just one spray is insanely strong, like choke you out strong. And this I feel like is a lot more manageable, of like middle of the road kind of performance. At least in, you know, the one day that I've tried it out. So that is Chocolate Greedy by Montale. All right, so now we get to the next two, and I'm so nervous, you guys. I feel like it's really gonna go, it can go either way, but I'm very worried. So I haven't even opened up the boxes, and both of them have beautiful boxes. So the first one's actually a first from the house, and you guys know, if you've been watching me for a long time, if this is your first video, don't forget to subscribe. But if you've been watching me for a long time, you'll know I love getting like it's extra special when you get a first from the house. And this is Frank Boclet, I think his name, or Boclet. I'm assuming it's French. So yeah, Paris. So Frank Boclet. And he has a bunch of, or the house has a bunch of fragrances that are kind of like, not solely notes in that they only smell like one thing, but they're named after one thing. So Heliotrope, lavender, neroli, whatever it may be. And there's a violet one, which I've had on my list for ages and ages. As you guys know, I adore violet. But that one, I just have heard it's like so, with the descriptions that I've heard, it's like so not my vibe. And I wouldn't even want to risk it because I like guaranteed it's not my vibe. So I went with my more safer option, Heliotrope, which is another note I absolutely adore. This is also possibly not my vibe because I feel like the fragrances take like a non-traditional route with the note it's inspired by. So this has cloves, thyme, peach, orange blossom, rose, heliotrope, tonka, bean, and patchouli. And the thing I've heard is it's supposed to be somewhat similar to L'Heure Bleue by Guerlain, but I've never smelled that one, and I know it's a classic. I never have. This is what it comes in, and it has like a little pouch, I suppose, a little like sack that it comes in. So I'm just gonna take it out, and it's a very heavy bottle. Extremely heavy bottle, ambery juice, and heliotrope is super powdery and kind of like a soft almondy type vibe to it, which is so my vibe, and I love heliotrope in fragrances. And a lot of my fragrances that have heliotrope are like favorites for me. And this, I feel like from the descriptions and the notes, is a bit more of a spicy root with it, and with patchouli, and those are notes that really go either way with me. So it's not a traditional, or what I'm used to like experiencing with heliotrope, which is lighter florals, powdery florals, and things that mixed in with like iris and musk and violet and stuff. And this is very, very different. So we will try it together. Again, like I love the bottle. It's very, I feel like very well done. Like it just feels like substantial. Okay, let's see. Wow, okay. Straight off the bat, it's reminding me of Lush. I can't really recall, oops, sorry. I can't really recall like what product I would say it's reminding me of specifically, but it's definitely got, I was wondering if the heliotrope would be hidden. It's not. I definitely get that heliotrope that's slightly powdery, but like in this, it's a little bit more medicinal. The way that like cherry and almond can be kind of close in scent sometimes, and that sometimes is used in medicine as well. It's definitely medicinal. So I can see how this wouldn't be everyone's jam. But I'm rather pleased because it kind of, I don't know, I was expecting worse. I was expecting it to just be very dated and like a bitter spicy, but it's not. It's interesting. I feel like this would be one I have to come back and really give you guys a more thorough review, maybe do a full video on this, because it feels like it's gonna change. It feels like it's gonna, because it's so strong of a scent, just those two sprays, it's incredibly strong. It's very medicinal. Sometimes that can turn sweet. Maybe that'll turn a little bit more floral with the orange blossom and rose. But I definitely do get heliotrope in this. It's just less powdery, because I've usually experienced heliotrope in powdery fragrances, and more of like a medicinal cherry almond. And I get the spiced, maybe like a little bit of that clove and stuff, but it's not in any way spicy. It's just, I don't know, it smells like something an old queen would wear, if that makes any sense. Which I think works, because like L'Heure Bleue, I heard, was like Queen Elizabeth's fragrance at some point. I feel like I could see Queen Elizabeth wearing this. And I don't want that to like scare people off of feeling like it's too dated or a fragrance for a particular age group or anything, but I will just say straight off the bat, it's not for everyone. But I am pleasantly surprised, because I was expecting to really hate it. And I really took a chance with that one, because heliotrope was one of like only 3 notes out of the entire bunch that I thought I would like. So yeah, really, really looking forward to coming back and telling you guys more about that one. All right, so now we have the last one, and I've left the one I was anticipating the most and I've been the most nervous about for last, but I was kind of nervous for all 3, as you guys know. So this has been in my list for, again, like over a year, maybe 2 years, and I've always thought about it, and there's been 2 fragrances where I've been, particularly because they're similar in name, that I've been drawn to because of the name. And it's Oud d'Esfahan by Dior, which I've never tried, and Neroli d'Esfahan by Boucheron. And I'm Persian, so I really wanted to try both. And from what I've heard about both fragrances actually is they really should be sampled prior to purchase, because even if you think you like Oud or you think you like Neroli, you're not in any way guaranteed to like either of the fragrances. And I know Oud d'Esfahan has a lot of, there's a lot of people that really, really rep and love that fragrance, but it also can go very sour on a lot of people, and it's just too strong and not their vibe. Again, I will try to sample that one day rather than purchasing it, because that's an even more expensive blind buy. But with Neroli d'Esfahan, I thought it would be the perfect fragrance out of the 2. It had to be one of them, where I would just pick it up as my last fragrance purchase before I go on my no buy or low buy. So this is obviously by Boucheron. It comes in a beautiful box. I feel like I'll want to keep this one. And I rarely keep my boxes. And this is what it looks like. I've got the largest size, the 125 ml. I think it does come in a smaller size, but the bottle is beautiful. And I have had good experience with Boucheron. If you guys have been watching me, you know I love Boucheron Fleur. So We'll see. I adore Neroli, but again, kind of like the Heliotrope fragrance I just mentioned, this is not your typical Neroli, and that is what everyone and their mother says. So this has ginger, cardamom, neroli, pink pepper, labdanum, and ambroxan, patchouli, and white musk. We'll spray it over on this side. It's supposed to be, again, spicy and very, just very dark and rich smelling, and nothing like you'd imagine Neroli's usually in a lot brighter, citrusy, kind of floral fragrances like Neroli Portofino. I think if you're expecting that, which I'm not gonna, I already know, I've prepped myself, it's not those kind of fragrances. It's not supposed to be in any way like a beachy or soft, airy type fragrance, kind of like the polar opposite is what I've heard. So, I mean, bottle-wise, stunning. I really, really like it. It's super beautiful. And this whole range looks like this. This is just the only one I was interested in. So we've had somewhat good luck so far. So let's see. I'm so nervous. Wow, okay. I was really expecting the worst. This is straight off the bat. It's fresher than I thought. I feel like I was expecting it to go dark right away. And there definitely is like that exact like Neroli kind of like petitgrain type freshness to it, which I was not expecting. I'd prepped myself, you guys, for like the darkest, richest, like again, something I would hate. Maybe it's the ginger. Like I feel like it's sparkling. It's very bright, and you definitely get Neroli. It's maybe not as bright as like an aquatic Neroli would go, but it's very unisex. I'll also say that straight off the bat. I feel like it isn't leaning in any way where it's like sweet or feminine. I feel like as it's resting, because now it's dried on my skin, at first it was so bright, and yeah, bright's kind of the best word I can use. Not especially citrusy, I would say, but like sparkling and zingy. And as it's drying, I feel like I get kind of like a touch of spice. It smells a little bit like cinnamon to me personally, but everything turns, like everything that's like slightly spicy, cinnamon just stands out, and I can see cinnamon is not in the notes. There's pink pepper, labdanum, and ambroxan, and patchouli, which are kind of in that way, but honestly on me it's turning a little bit cinnamon-like, and yeah, just a little bit more spicy, but it's in no way, at least, you know, upon first impressions, but now it's like drying and it already smells a little bit different than the opening, and I love it. I really, really like it. I'm interested to see if it gets stronger on the spicy side as it starts to wear on my skin, or if it goes musky, because in the base, there's a whole lot of white musk in there apparently, and some people it turns musky on, I've heard. So I'm interested. I will definitely come back, as with all my fragrances, in the second impressions videos and let you guys know, but wow, yeah, I really do like it. Okay, so as always, I'm gonna put my fragrances in order. This is unbelievable because I really thought this was gonna be 3 failures for my last haul, and all 3 of them surprised me for the better, and I really did not expect that to happen. So I would say, in third place, I would still put Chocolate Greedy. I do like it a lot more than I thought, and I will actually wear this sample, like I'll wear the entire thing. I think if it stayed the way it did in the opening, I would consider buying a full bottle, because if I find a chocolate fragrance that I'm into, that's a miracle in and of itself. But once it starts turning into like more so Lyra territory, I've already got Lyra, and there's so few days out of the year that I'm going to be into that kind of fragrance that Lyra is more than enough for me. However, and it's got better lasting power than this. However, I know so many of you love this kind of fragrance, so that's kind of more personal if you're into my sort of vibe. I think I want to be as helpful to you guys as I can be, and there are so many of you that love Gourmand fragrances, or that like the exact opposite fragrance to me, in which case I love that you're still watching, and you will like this. You will definitely like Chocolate Greedy. Then between the other two, I will just say, really was expecting to hate both, but praying for the best. And I will put Heliotrope in a second place, in a close second under Neroli d'Ispahan, only because I feel like this is going to be a harder to wear fragrance than this. I do like both, and neither of them have turned on me, but this is just, I'm extra happy because I was not expecting it to wow me the way it did. And the fact that like, I love the name, and I'm just, it's really pushing me over the edge to just buy Eau d'Ispahan blind, but I won't. So yeah, this is really beautiful. I'm gonna have to wear it a lot more, especially now in colder weather, because I feel like it's gonna bloom super beautifully. But this, I feel like I could wear year long. So yeah, I'll definitely come back for second impressions videos, but as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and let me know in either the comments or on Instagram what kind of videos you'd love to see, and I'll see you next time. Bye.